a scion of many worlds. I think we need to speak for multiple reasons now, Jasper says, and the old Jorgwa chuckles before taking a sip of her bowl. Okay, Moth, step back and let me out. We do need to talk. Some now, some later, she says, and Jasper takes a step back and away from the doorframe he's crowding. Another death touched, though touched in a different way. Elder Moth says as she leaves the building. She reaches out and cups the chin of Banshee to regard her oddly, yet even more radiant with life than the Orthani. We seek the broken soul. They have defied death in their own way. If you're hunting them, then you will want to speak to the elders. They have not been near our home as of late. But the others? They are never too far from one or the other. Elder Moth remarks. What do you know? Jasper asks. That your best chance is to join us tonight, Elder Moth says. The ritual is not to be interrupted, but when the chanting is done and the sleeper has been sent back to the realm of dreams, you will be able to speak to many at once. You will want to see it. Why? What form of ritual is this? Important. We trade for totems we can use to keep the sleeper within the realm of dreams. It tries to wake once every few decades. I was little more than a hatchling watching in awe the last time the ritual happened. Elder Moth states and Jasper frowns. Wait. That thing on both horizons, it's here? Jasper asks. Elder Moth points past the island and smiles. It's there. It must be kept asleep, she says. It happens tonight. All will be together, and if you have questions, then all will be able to answer at once. Surely that is the best way to do this, is it not? What's your game? Do you think this is funny? Banshee demands, and Jasper holds out a claw. No, screw you. I'm here for revenge, not your recruitment scheme or army. I want the broken soul sinking into the deepest, darkest part of the ocean. Banshee, Jasper says, and if you don't want to help me, then you can just... The rant is cut off as Jasper grabs her around the head. Banshee, she has literally offered us the fastest path possible to getting everything we want. Going from island to island and searching for information will take a long time. There are hundreds of islands. This ritual will bring forth a fair portion of their elders into one place, and after their ritual, we will be able to ask them all at once. Provided there's not some taboo against speaking after the ritual or an outsider observing it. He directs the last bit of his phrasing to Elder Moth, who shakes her head. No, it is acceptable, she says, and he nods. The mighty Surge is making last-moment profit by trading supplies to us. Chiefess will handle bargaining. I must carve. There are many carvings to make to properly prepare the totems. I see. Would you mind if my team and I spend our day among your village while we wait for tonight's ritual? That is no problem. Bring no harm to us, and no harm will be brought to you, Elder Moth says before nodding and walking away and towards the ship just offshore. Really? We rush, and now we wait? Banshee asks, and Jasper nods. Welcome to the life of a professional soldier. Hurry up and wait is the name of the game, Jasper remarks. Really? Banshee asks. Well, that and long periods of boredom punctuated by short periods of incredible danger and stress. Life for a professional soldier or warrior is not for everyone, Jasper says. Then why can't we do this the fun way, the exciting way? Come on. I've been on that island for years alone, rotting and dying and going insane all by myself. Let me do something, Banshee demands. Be with the people, Jasper offers. Talk to them, be among them. Your revenge is coming, and it's coming as fast as we can get it here. But even if I tire myself out rushing from island to island in order to get all the information as soon as possible, I must then stop to rest so that when we do find the broken soul, I'm not exhausted and useless. But, Banshee protests, calm yourself. You have life beyond revenge. What do you want after the broken soul is crushed? Jasper asks. I don't know. My family is long dead. Whatever friends I had are gone. I was a weaver. I worked a loom to weave canvas. My home was burnt to ashes. I have nothing, Banshee says, and Jasper lays a claw on her shoulder. Not anymore, you don't. The Star Seekers are open to you, and when my people arrive, the Undaunted will no doubt have a place for someone with the mental resilience to endure what you have suffered, Jasper says. The Undaunted? Banshee asks. I'm part of an army, a professional one from beyond Lachran. They've tracked me down and are sending rescue. It's just a few days away. They may even arrive before we're finished hunting the broken soul. Rescue? Isn't that what the immortal Empress keeps ranting about? Banshee asks, and Jasper brings out his communicator and activates it. Dispatch, this is the Moth. I have a non-believer here. Care to use the holo interface? Jasper asks, with a grin, and the device projects the image of a man looking into the camera. A Foza? Well, doesn't she look pissed off? What's going on, Sergeant Blue? We're hunting down a ghost pirate ship with the help and support of this woman who escaped their grasp, only to be trapped in a twisted half-life. My resurrection and reincarnation double feature is not unique. Afterlife and resurrection shenanigans are known to the point that the tribal elder Moths recognize the touch of the afterlife on sight. Jasper explains, and the dispatcher runs a hand over his head. That's insane. We need to find out what it is and how this is being done. I think we're about to. There's a ritual tonight to keep a sleeper in the realm of dreams, to use the local terminology. Furthermore, the local geography implies that something detonated a continent to create an archipelago, and during my restoration I sensed an enormous entity. What do all those pieces say? If you can get a picture of the creature or of the ritual, the communicator will be on record and I'll have it hanging off a necklace to watch, Jasper says, and the dispatcher nods. Why is it that Lachran becomes more valuable the more we learn of it? Because I do good work? Jasper asks. How is that something that... Never mind. Just make sure you see every part of the ritual, and if there are any sightings of the entity. If it can be studied, then your remarkable alterations can be replicated. I'm aware. I'm very aware, Jasper says. What are you talking about? Banshee asks, and Jasper lets out a huff. Long story short, it's very rare, very unusual thing for someone to defy or return from death. Even people called death-defying are just those who can get out of danger only mildly hurt or unscathed entirely, Jasper says, before turning off the communicator and tucks it away. So, people are only coming here to help us to get something out of it. Makes sense, Banshee says. Unfortunately, reality is unkind that way, Jasper remarks. I'd like to think that the Undaunted would have come to help even if there wasn't a prize at the end. But we'll never know. It's too easy and too convenient to lie and say they'd do it just to help someone. But we will never know now. Regardless, they're coming. That's what matters. She gives him an odd look and he raises an eyebrow. Aren't you supposed to tell me that everything's going to be all right and work perfectly, and rainbows and butterflies with candy and gold falling from the sky? Isn't that the story of the great rescue on the way? Of course not. Could you imagine the damage that kind of thing would cause? Gold is heavy and hits hard if dropped from the sky. Jasper dismisses it. Beyond that, nothing is perfect. Hoping for the best is a good way to keep your spirits up, but you need to be ready on a practical level. The Undaunted coming will rip this world apart. I'm trying to pacify and calm it down ahead of time, but there will be death and violence and confusion because a lot of people are about to lose a lot of power. Such a thing is rarely, if ever, done gracefully. And the conqueror of Miru isn't? Banshee asks, and he shrugs. I never really had the power to begin with. It was always a temporary thing, and thank fuck for that. I don't want to be the king of some nation that can't even decide if it's going to treat its own people well. Too much hassle, too much trouble, and too many idiots unable to do the obvious and sane thing to save their own lives. Even with delegation, I had to personally go out and do a lot to stop things from toppling over. Jasper replies. Okay, fine. Whatever. Forget everything. What do you want me to do, and how will it help me find and fucking bury the broken soul and everything on it? Make friends with the locals. Even if they don't know anything, they can teach you little bits here and there to help you question others and help track down the ship. I'll be helping Elder Moz with carving the totems if she'll let me. Anyone else have their own ideas? I'm bored. I'll do a flyover of the islands, Magrika offers. I'll speak with the local midwife, see if she has anything to say, and if not, perhaps something to drink, Lady Allure replies. Last one in is a rotting egg, Jane suddenly shouts, racing for the water. Make sure you're all back in time for the ritual. I want everyone there. Jasper calls after them before he hears a grinding sound and turns to see Terry reclining onto a stone chair perfectly molded to her body. Her arm covers her eyes and she's snoring in moments. I shall join you, Lord Blue, if you don't mind, Lady Clarity says as Banshee wanders off with a shake of her head and tossing her arms in the air in frustration. Not at all. Besides, if you can think of more things to ask, then it will only help the situation, Jasper replies. Before that happens, I have some questions of my own, though, Lady Clarity states, and Jasper nods as he gestures for her to follow. The pace is very slow for something his size, but almost hurried for her. Very good. Now, what level of interest will our world have? Being rescued is one thing, being conquered for gold or whatever it is the wider galaxy values is another thing entirely. There is going to be a lot of interest in Lacron. There are certain limits in technology that have been broken here by accident. Everything happening around the spheres of death and resurrection are, as far as I know, unique to this world. If it can be replicated, then there will be a lot of scientific interest in the area, as the causes of these miracles is studied until they are understood. If it can't, what if my home and the home of my ancestors is the only place such things can occur? Clarity asks, and Jasper's look is haunted. Then I'll be doing everything in my power to safely get as many people off this world before the rush of the wealthy and corrupt force people off or enslave them to benefit from the powers in place here. Although if my suspicions are correct, such an action might very well cause damnation, especially if the entity does wake up. The greedy and short-sighted are the kind of people who would cook the goose who lays the golden eggs. What does that even mean? Clarity asks. What does what mean? I just went on a small rant, Jasper asks. What is a goose, and how are its eggs golden? A goose is a water-favoring bird. It's a reference to an old tale. But the idea behind the way I used it is that many greedy people will destroy the true source of value in exchange for short-term gain, even if it's incredibly stupid, Jasper explains. What is incredibly stupid? Elder Moz asks as they reach her. She's clearly got sharp ears despite her age. Cooking the goose that lays the golden eggs, apparently? Lady Clarity asks, and Jasper can only bury his face in a claw. He's going to have to explain it. That is stupid. If some beast can lay gold for eggs, then you want it alive, and only a fool more hungry than savvy would eat it. Thank you. Yes. That is exactly the point in the saying, Jasper says before gathering himself. Honored Elder, I am very curious about the ritual about to take place. May I have the honor in helping you prepare the axiom totem so that I may both lighten your burdens and learn of the ritual? Oh, don't be so formal. I'm old, not stiff. I'd love some help. I'll even teach you the ritual song. It would be an absolute treat to have an eartheny trill to add to our throaty bellows, a sweet-sounding instrument in the midst of our choir,